start Cursejar and get Trevor and Harley involved was seeing my buddy Luke, who drums and sings in Navtech. Watching him start that band and him having a clear vision for it, that really motivated me to do the same thing in this case. And in the other bands I played bass, and it was sort of a role I filled simply because the guitar players I was playing with at the time, they were very well accomplished and very well skilled. And I think this was I saw this as an opportunity for me to do it myself, to just try it, see if it'll work, and it's been a process. And ultimately reflecting on it, it was, not only in just improving myself, and writing songs with the guys, and becoming more proficient at the instrument, but the biggest lesson that I've learned in looking at it introspectively over the past year and a half of doing this is ultimately being comfortable with being myself. Because at the end of the day, I don't really see playing the instrument as, as a role of, guitar player, bass player, whatever. I see the instrument as a tool of expression, of expressing myself and who I am in ways that can't be spoken in words.
Yeah, for the longest time I was super isolated with it. It took me years to take that next step to play with people. A lot of it was just playing covers, getting my reps in, learning cover songs. I met Grant Peters and Paul in 2013, and that was the next step for me, was joining a band with those guys, and from there it was a whole other world, just playing with other people, learning to be in time, and just kind of making the next step with those boys and playing shows, and that's kind of where it all started.
Just at home, really playing guitar, got me really wanting to play. Eventually, I remember hanging out with a friend of mine and his neighbor, amazing, talented guitar. So shout out Alex Melton on YouTube. He's very famous now, actually very viral. And we were at his house, and he was like playing guitar, and I was like, this is so cool, like I want to learn. And he was like telling me how to read guitar tabs, so I like went home and like pulled up a tab site and picked up what was I was trying to learn, like Green Day or Blink-182 songs, and that was kind of like the start of it, because like I remember my parents bought me a guitar like a long time ago, and I kind of put it to the side and hung out with friends and rode bikes and stuff like that, and just kind of picked it up and went from there. And like same with Harley, like playing like covers and stuff, I just kind of got the idea of how like songs are written, the structure.
I think this group, different from all the other groups I've been in, there's so much more creative freedom. I think you guys are so acceptive of ideas, and it's very non-traditional for drummers to sort of introduce ideas and have a song built around that. But that's not the case here, which is really cool. And that kind of allows me, I don't feel like I'm in a bubble necessarily, where it's like ideas have to be presented to me and I have to kind of lay a foundation to it. I can come up with so many ideas and then send those to you guys, and from there we can have a basis for a song. So it's liberating, it's like, and refreshing to kind of have that influence in the group, and I enjoy that a whole lot. That's
What we do, I don't necessarily follow any particular formula or any particular sound. I see it as, I identify the feeling that I get whenever I listen to bands or artists that inspire me, from all different styles, whether it be, the second wave emo stuff, post-hardcore music, even, the melodic hardcore stuff, alternative, what have you. There's a certain feeling that I get that inspires me, that gets the fire burning from within me. And whatever I write within my level of ability, that's when I know like I've accomplished what I've set out to do. Because I feel like if I write something that sounds like something that's just not, that doesn't get the fire burning in me, then I haven't done anything. It's just noise. It's just noises, sounds. But everything that we've done as a band, at least that I've been able to contribute in terms of guitar, I find that ultimately have been opportunities to express myself and to show the ultimate truth of myself.
Like in the older bands, we knew what we wanted to sound like, and the difference with Cursejar is like it's very organic and it just flows really well. And the main thing, like being in a band is like you just really gotta have fun with it, because that's how like really anything works. If you take it too serious, like you're gonna crash and you're gonna burn. That's how I feel about that. But if you just have fun with it, things can fall into place. And I feel like that is where Cursejar could be headed, because we're just having fun. Even though, we do all have like full-time jobs and we have lives outside of music, but I mean, it's been fun so far.
In regards to writing the lyrics, I feel like I've been able to do the same thing. Especially in our latest release, The Organizational Complex, a lot of the topics on that release really center around both the external and internal conflicts that I felt within myself at the time. External in terms of how I sort of perceive the world and my relation to it, as well as reflecting on myself internally, and ultimately, like, as a result of that, I feel like I've been able to overcome a lot of the negative feelings that I had around those topics, and as a result, I've been able to move forward because of it. Because I find that without music as a way to express myself and to be myself, I simply can't exist in this world trying to be like everybody else. I simply can't operate, or I can't relate to a scenario where I feel like I feel pressure to be someone that I'm not, or to do things that I am not passionate about, or I don't have a genuine motivation towards. And I feel like that was letting go of that and overcoming that has been the biggest, I would say, the most significant result of Cursejar. First getting with these guys, it's interesting because I had a history with them before, in writing and playing music with them, but it's very different now, that I believe, than what it was back then. Back then we were younger and approached things very sort of laissez-faire, without much of a vision towards anything, and just sort of just doing it. And I feel like approaching it now, I feel much wiser than I did then. And I feel like we've grown a lot as people since then. And I think it reflects in the music and how we approach it, and how we write songs, and how we work together and communicate our ideas and articulate our thoughts. Because ultimately, on guitar, I sort of provide the guitar riffs and a genuine structure, a skeleton, so to speak. But getting together with Harley and Trevor, they're able to enhance and refine those ideas, and ultimately provide the joints and the tendons that hold it all together, and really offer a lot to make the songs stand out and to make them work. And that's another part of the process that I find to be most valuable is, we have different influences and different ways of approaching things, but when we all get together and we put our minds together towards that common goal, I think something really special happens. And we've had a lot of really special moments, especially when we wrote Framed in Sequence, when we wrote Oscillate, and now even some of the new material that we have in the works. I can really feel like when we have it, when our sound is coming out. And I think And I truly believe it is something unique, and it's because I think all three of us have something unique to offer.
What motivates me to play, the music that we do is like I feel like it really does like stand out because I just notice some bands want to stick to that one sound, that one genre, and sound like that one band. But I think with Cursejar, we blend in a lot of different styles and influences, and that's how I feel about that.
Very happy. I mean, we have cultivated a lot of friendships, met a lot of cool people. I think in the end, that is sort of what I hope for, is just, meeting people and networking with people and kind of building family. So very optimistic, and I'm very happy to see where this goes to.
Very optimistic about Cursejar. I see good things happening with the band. As long as we continue just to play music and have fun and play shows and write new material. Hopefully, new things will happen for us, like maybe some little weekend runs or some tours or anything like that. I think would help us build our following even more, and just having fun with it.
Truly motivates me to do this is, aside from being able to have an outlet to express myself, is the feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment. I find that I sort of took, for 5 years, I dedicated my energy and my time into academics and building a career and so forth, because I was convinced for the longest time that is what would fulfill me. That is what would complete me in a sense. And it did help me grow as a person, but frankly, getting to the finish line of it and seeing what lied ahead, frankly, it didn't fulfill me. Whatever fancy job title I attained, or whatever position in the company, it ultimately was a cog in their machine to fulfill their vision, their mission, and their values. And they simply just did not line up with mine. And I see Cursejar and all my other musical projects as a way to get together with like-minded people to develop our own vision, our own mission, and our own set of values, and to leave our own ripple in time, so to speak. You only get one bite of the apple. And so that's what motivates me to do it. No matter how I feel physically, or no matter how, nothing will stop me from doing it. Unless, there were other priorities that were to come into play, of course. But I feel very optimistic for what we have in store. I find that we've sort of been able to mold into our own now, with our own sound and with something to offer in the scene. I think it's been a challenge, sort of finding a place in the scene in terms of playing with certain lineups and with certain sounds and everything else. But ultimately, it's something I used to worry about more. I don't worry about it as much. I think that whatever lineup we play, whatever sort of bill, what have you, we do it because we like the other bands on it. And and if they dig it, they dig it. But ultimately, it'll always come from a genuine or organic place.
Bye.